What is going on, guys? We're back with another video, and we might have had something similar to this earlier today, but we are going to see how the rest of the season plays out. We have the exact outcome listed right now up to week 14, technically week 15. Nothing is changed. Let's show you the fact that we didn't sim anything else, but everything is correct. Obviously, some of the stats might be a little skewed, like, you know, the Vikings didn't lose 35-2. I wish they would have won, but they didn't lose 35-2. You know, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's all proper. And we're going to see who is going to be the Super Bowl champion for the, you know, who's going to make the playoffs, who's going to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if the Packers are going to make the sim win here. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know about real life either. I think, honestly, what we're going to see here, I think is going to be very realistic to real life. And after this sim, I'll tell you if I still stand with that. So we have Tom Brady's an MVP, which makes sense to me. 7-9. It's funny that it gives us a 7-9 record because I was telling people it's going to be sad as hell that even when Rodgers returns, watch us lose 2 games anyways, because the team isn't just missing Rodgers. Oh, man. Now that one, okay, fair enough, but these games would be devastating. Could you imagine losing by 2 and 6? Especially if the other teams did just as bad. Let's take a look. The teams the Packers needed to lose were, of course, the Seahawks, Falcons, and Panthers for the most part. I would say Falcons are the biggest challenge, and that's the team that I would just completely avoid. I think it's honestly between the Panthers, and that's pretty much it. I think the Packers would have to steal the Panthers' spot, and you see the Falcons made it, the Seahawks made it, and the Panthers didn't, which means I believe the Saints or Seahawks stole that spot. So, I don't know if I see this happening. I don't know if I see the Seahawks winning 11 games. The Vikings, I see that happening. Let's see. I mean, a lot of this actually makes quite a bit of sense to me. Chiefs at 8-8. That's an interesting one. That is very interesting. Chiefs at 8-8 and Titans at 9-7. Titans are actually having a really good, sneaky season. I think they're, 8-5 right now? So finishing a little bit rough there. But let's take a look at the stats. Of course, we've seen Tom Brady MVP. There's a chance. There's a chance. I mean, right now, who's it between? Russell Wilson and him? If the Seahawks don't make the Super Bowl, or the playoffs, I don't see that happening. Somehow Aaron Rodgers having a godly season still. Jamal Williams having a decent season, obviously not going to happen. 3 1,000-plus yard receivers, obviously not going to happen. Defensively, I mean, these are some nice numbers, but I don't know all about that. And let's take a look at the rest of the league, see how they did. So, and I did not want to look at that. I wanted to look at everyone. NFL, so Dak Prescott, 5,000 yards. Tom Brady, 43 touchdowns, 8 picks. The yards are off the chain. Ridiculous yardage. Rushing yards. LeGarrette Blount was the league's leader for the most part. In real life, have a lot of options for some of these positions. Really, Cole Beasley had the most catches in the league. Some interesting ones here. For the most part, we're not seeing the most realistic scenario. In 9th offense. What about the awards? You know, Tom Brady won MVP. Blake Bortles, Le'Veon Bell. Deion Lewis was actually very high on the list. Ryan Shazier, unlucky, bro. Hopefully, I mean, I don't even think you could really even pray for him to come back on the field at this point. I mean, it would be amazing, but I just don't see it. And even, like, I honestly don't know if you should pray for him to come back, because that just seems like a dangerous situation. And I know we all love Ryan Shazier. Even if you're a rival of the Steelers, if you play Madden, at least in the minimum, if you play Madden, you have to love the man. He's clearly by far everyone's favorite user, and just an awesome player in general. And it sucks the way it happened, you know. Those head injuries are rough, man. Well, let's take a look at that playoff schedule. So, wild card, we have the Titans versus the Jags, the Saints versus the Falcons. That would be an insane one. That would have to be a prime time. Definitely not a Saturday. Sunday, actually, I don't know. Does it go by seeds? I think it might go by seed. I don't know if it actually goes by best matchup. This is a decent one too, though. Rams, Seahawks, and divisional does not show that aspect. So let's look fully into this scenario. So, of course, we have the Eagles winning. Or not winning, but Eagles getting top seed. Patriots, Steelers, very close. This is going to be an interesting one in real life. We'll see. Very close in real life. Jags, Vikings, Falcons, Seahawks, Rams, Saints, Bills, Titans, and Chiefs. I want to take a look at the actual standings right now and tell you if I also agree. I think for the NFC side, that pretty much nails it, if I'm going to be honest. Wait, does it have the Panthers losing out? Ooh, this is tough. Seahawks and Panthers, I think, are the two teams that aren't guaranteed. I think the Falcons have enough tiebreakers to take this thing, if I'm being honest. So I think 5 teams are definitely guaranteed. Seahawks and Panthers, though, that is a 50-50. We'll see how that one turns out. Both, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. But on the AFC side, though, let's take a look at the AFC side. The AFC side does not have the Ravens making it. I believe in the Ravens. I really do. I don't know if I can believe in the Chiefs. At 8-8, that's a tough one. Unless they win their... Are they going to win their division? Or is it the Titans? Titans win their division in this scenario. As of right now, I think the real-life gods agree with this scenario. I don't know if the Bills are going to go 9-7. I definitely think the Ravens can make the playoffs. So I think it's very close. It's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate stuff. Obviously, that's kind of expected at this point. Let's take a look at some of the major team stats. What does Tom Brady finish? Does he finish? He does finish amazingly. Actually, I think we already looked at this stuff, didn't we? But I suppose of all the playoff teams, let's take a look at each team and see what games they win/lose. So we've been over our team, I'm pretty sure. So we lost those games. It would be very devastating the way, Vikings, Lions, very close games. Those are rough. Let's start off with the Chiefs. So the Chiefs win against the Chargers, which is a huge game. They lose to the Dolphins. I could see it. And Broncos is a very questionable one. Are the Broncos in the playoffs at this point? They're pretty bad, aren't they? Yeah, I was about to say, they're really bad. What a 4-9. For some reason in my head, I think it was some rebuild we did recently that's got me thinking that there's some other reason. Some really bad teams. But this one, I could see it. I could see it. Broncos, though, I don't know. I think the Broncos would not want to win that game. So the Chiefs actually... This is a close one. This is very close. I don't know if they can do it, but... I don't know. It's really hard. And then you have the Cowboys losing 3 straight games. Are they going to lose to the Eagles? I honestly do not know. I think they're going to be given a free win there. I think the Raiders will not win either. So the Cowboys, I think, are going to be a game out. So I think they're going to do a little bit better than the sim is telling them. And then Eagles losing to the Giants, don't see that happening. Winning against the Raiders, I can see it. And then Cowboys, like I said, I think the Cowboys are going to win that game. Falcons, Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers. This is a very tough one. I don't think they beat the Saints again. I don't think they do. Ooh. Week 14, is that what they recently won? So I don't think they're going to beat the Saints again, but I still think they make the playoffs. Then you have the Jags beating the Texans, obvious. So the Jags have a really easy finishing schedule here, I think. Then you got the Lions. They have a pretty favorable record. It's tough. The Lions have a shot too, but I think they need more people to lose. Obviously, it comes down to beating us as well. Packers, we've already been through that. Panthers, Packers, Buccaneers, Falcons. I think if they can beat us, they're pretty much in it, which is why I don't know. This is tough because the Falcons are going to need to try their hardest all 3 games. So I don't think they can beat the Falcons, which if they do beat the Packers and Bucs, which I very well could see happening, and they lose to the Falcons, that knocks them out still. Patriots, doesn't really matter. They have they had such a favorable schedule again. The loss of the Chiefs, beat the Saints. So of these teams, what was hard? I know the Chiefs were hot early, but at the same time, they're not doing well right now. So were they really all that hot? They had a very favorable schedule. If we're going to look at this, I think the Raiders were kind of sought after as or thought of as a team that was going to do a lot better. But I don't know. I feel like they got a favorable schedule. The Rams got a couple of hard games here. Seahawks and Titans, then the Niners, but they're going to make it. Ravens versus the Browns, Colts, and Bengals, which is why I said I think the Ravens have a legit chance here, and I don't see why they wouldn't. Saints, Jets, Falcons, Bucks, somewhat tough, but they're in. Seahawks, Rams, Cowboys, Cardinals. They've got a couple of teams that really need wins, but I can see them winning it. And then the Steelers are already clinched up and also still have a favorable schedule. Titans, a couple of hard matchups there, but I think they've already, if they win against the Niners, I think they've done enough to make the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Vikings, I think have a very favorable schedule as well. And I think they're going to easily take care of us, which is what I worry about. The Packers, our offensive line has been rough. I mean, Hundley just has, he's terrible in the blitz, but I don't see how much Rodgers is going to be able to take either. I just don't know. But let's go on and see who actually wins the Super Bowl. That's the most important thing. That's what we're mainly here for. I know we care about, Rodgers and whatnot, but we want to see who actually wins the Super Bowl. Who is it? So I think a lot of people would be mad with this one. Is it not going to tell me who wins each game? It doesn't. But long story short, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers winning against I do not know who. We'll try to take a look at that real quick. All stories. Who did they... So it was Seahawks versus Steelers. That'd be an interesting Super Bowl. It'd be tough to choose who I'd vote for, but I think I'd probably have to go Seahawks. I mean, at the end of the day, the way I always look at it, I know, especially in other sports, it's always completely the opposite. But for me, it's Packers first, then the NFC North. I know it might sound crazy, but I want the NFC North to represent. I get the rivalry, and you're like, okay, I want to be the best team in the division. I think it helps that the Packers are so much ahead of their rivals, so it gives me a little bit more leeway in my opinions. But if the Vikings win the Super Bowl, it's like, hell yeah, the last Super Bowl winner was from the North. Guess what? Best division. It's the second closest the Packers winning, in my opinion. Then it's NFC. Then, for whatever weird reason, it's the Raiders. I always loved the way they drafted. I love the whole black, dark kind of, what is it called? Atmosphere, I guess, I suppose. And their history. And then anyone but the Patriots, Steelers, or anyone with a lot of rings, basically. And I don't see how anyone could hate on that, because it's true. You don't want the best to be the best. At least with the Packers, you can be like, they only have 2 relevant rings. They have a lot of history, great history, one of the better franchises, but at least, with the other teams, like, okay, those are kind of recent. I don't think they need any more. But anyways, enough rambling. Let me know what you guys think is the actual outcome of the NFL. How close do you think I'm going to be? How close do you think EA is going to be? I think the Steelers have a legit shot. Let's call it how it is. I think Shazier is a huge blow to take for this year and the future, obviously. A huge blow. A huge one. But I still think they have enough firepower to get it done, especially on that offense. But the Patriots are always scary. Let me know, once again, the Falcons might sneak away with this thing. The Saints have been improved so much since last year. It's unbelievable. They could sneak in and win one too. So I would not be mad with that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya!